Anybody out there wondering what's going on with our men? And when I say our men, I mean black men. Like, what's going on? You know, I was driving the other day. I reached a red light, and for some reason, this particular instance, there was a whole bunch of black guys crossing the street, and I noticed that because it was hot, nobody's wearing a sweater or jackets or coats. So everybody has their, basically just t-shirts and jeans or t-shirts or whatever pants they have on, a white beat or something like that. And they're walking. And I'm like, the pants are sagging, Now I'm used to seeing that. I grew up seeing that. But something told me to make a game out of it in my head. So I'm watching them and I'm like, I bet you this guy, his pants are sagging too. He was. This guy actually has a jacket on, but I bet you it's sagging too. And the way it crunched up in the bottom, I'm like, yep. Like, totally make a game out of this. And you'll win all the time. Because none of them, out of every guy that crossed the street, every black guy that crossed the street, none of them had their pants waist level. None of them. And I'm sure now they're designed to not even reach that level anymore. But I'm sure that's not all that's being sold. So you can't say it's still a problem. It's not black specific pants. It's just a design. So there's still no excuse for this. I know why it's happening, but I'm like, it's very, I just want to know if anyone else sees this and is ever questioning why this is okay. Because I'm sure everybody knows why that's the case. Why, not why that's the case, where it came from. The origins of the pants being sagging. For those who don't know, scuttlebutt is, it's in prison you can't have a belt, so your pants, it won't fit, so it'll sag. But there are inmates who would actually have it sagging on purpose, so it'll be a sign of submission, so you're basically asking for what by another male in the prison. I knew this growing up. I knew this when this started to become a trend, because I remember the parents saying it all like over and over to kind of keep it from happening. But it didn't work. And I'm like, well, it's true, isn't it? Like, if it's not, tell me, like, in the comments if it's not. Because I'm sure, I bet you a lot of guys that's doing it now knows that as the truth. Took it as law and is still wearing their pants like that. And I'm like, how is this so, how is this a style? Oh, man. I live by to each their own, but when it comes to things like that, it's not, anybody who lives in a city where it's dominated by, a subway system like I did when I lived in New York. You can't tell me you didn't get mad when you had to walk behind one of those guys going up the stairs. Like, you shouldn't have to go through that. You shouldn't even have to see that. You shouldn't even have to see that going up the stairs or seeing it at all. Or having it. Oh, man. I used to dread that all the time. When I used to take the subway back home. I'm like, oh, man. Why did I have to walk behind this guy? Why do you have to be in front of me? I'd rather be slapped in the face by walking behind a woman with a short skirt than walk behind this guy. And what if he just suddenly stops and I'm not paying attention? All that's going through my head, you don't have to do this. You don't have to. Why is this I remember one time I got in trouble by an ex. We were we're talking about, the future, what we will do. Then rules came up in conversation, and we're talking about, so what rules will you have for the house? She said hers and I said mine, and that was one of them. I said, my rule is whatever male you invite here, like your brother or your cousin or whoever's younger, whoever, they're not coming in the house like that. I won't even allow anybody that I know coming in the house like that. That's the rule. Pants has to be waist level if you're coming in the house. She got mad at me for saying that. You see why I said X? Oh man, I was like, you seriously got mad at that? Like, that's okay if I have a elderly relative, or it's just disrespectful to have that exposed. It's like walking with the front part of your junk out. It's a private part. Why is that okay? And it's okay because the media says it's okay. It's because of the industry. It's a push. It's the agenda. It's all part of the agenda. This is basically where I'm getting at with this. Okay? The agenda is to make the black man feminine or gay, or the white guy docile. That's it. And this is the perfect way to do it. Through media. Why? Because, let's be real here. Black people are basically trendsetters. Whatever we do, people are always interested. This is not some black supremacy thing. This is just how it is. Just think about anything. I already gave the example of music. Even the shittiest music, we come out with it. Trap, for example, everybody's into it. So they're using us as these props. And when you have majority blacks who are of a single parent household, which is primarily the mother running things, all they have is feminine energy to be around. And only male energy is the ones they're seeing on TV. And guess what the males are doing on TV? The hoes, the drugs, the crime, and the sagging of the pants, all that they're seeing that. Oh, that's what we're supposed to do? That's what these kids are saying growing up, and that's what they do. I did not have to worry. I can't even, you know what? It's funny because I grew up with friends that grew up in a single parent household, and also friends that had both parents and they still did it. So it's obviously there's a root cause here. I'm just saying, majority of it, it's got to be that. Because I could tell you this part, none of the friends that I have who grew up with just a mom, none of them walk like ducks or have feminine mannerisms or say things like that women will say. But the ones that did grow up with just the mom, that's what they do. That's how they act. Even if they're masculine, it's just the mannerisms. The energy is there. That's why they spaz out like a woman would. I grew up seeing that. I've seen both. And the sagging pants is the common denominator there, yo. And that's because of what we watched on TV. The thing is, I watched it too, but I only watched it with them. On my own, I'm like, this is not appealing to me. So it didn't get me. And now as an adult, I'm looking back, I'm like, how the hell did they get into this? If you notice, like, in TV, how is a black man portrayed? How are they portrayed? They're either a criminal. If they're a good guy, they die immediately. Or if they're a good guy, they're gay. Or submissive to the wife. And that's the same, the last part, the latter, is the same for the white guy. He's a dumbass, and the wife is wears the pants in the house, and the white guy's the husband's always the goofball. It's basically Fred Flintstone all the time. There's no proper family dynamic. It's only a few shows like that, a few. Some of those, I don't know why they exist. I'm surprised they do. You know, I remember Black Lightning came out, and to see that, to see the it was the other way around. The wife left, and the kids were with the father, and the family dynamic was there. He tried to get her back and all that stuff, and to become a whole family again, and also deal with superpowers and their belief in God and all that. It's all about family. To see that was refreshing. I'm surprised that even. Well, then again, no, it just got canceled. So what am I saying anyway? Those things don't last. And I think they use that show as an example. Like, that's not new. That's not hip. That's not. That's old school. That's a legacy. We're stopping that, man. We're doing this. This is what's supposed to be. You're supposed to show the mom struggling and winning in the end, and the child winning in the end only because the mom did it and the father effed up. That's supposed to be normal. You know? And with me saying we're the trendsetters, even though we're the trendsetters, we're the most drone-like out of all of them. You know? I'm walking outside and I see majority black guys. They have their hair, I don't know, dyed gold. And I'm like, am I watching Meteor Man again? Like, all of them look like Golden Lords from Meteor Man. I'm like, yo, you're joking, right? Did y'all just see this movie at the same time? All of y'all look like the Golden Lords. All of them. Just frosted in gold. Why that way? I'm like, yo, why that color? Why y'all choose gold? Is it because of that movie, or I don't know, man? But I'm like, oh man, this is. But I don't know. That's the thing. I don't like seeing it. You know. I just don't want to see us lose. But with this, and easily they fall into mind control, and you know, because we didn't do this. Black men didn't do this. It was a specific group that's done this, who, you know, infiltrated the entertainment system when hip hop started. It wasn't about that in the beginning, man. It was positive in the beginning. It had harsh realities, but then they turned that harsh reality into a way of life when gangster rap came out, and then it became cool to be like that. Then after that, that's when the crime bill came out. And we were easy pickings at that point. And then with all the dads out of the house at that point, feminine energy for all the males. So all of us start acting like women, don't know how to handle a situation. Then we just start repeating the sins of the father from that point. Right? Then who these girls have to look up to? They don't know no proper male figure, male energy, how it's supposed to go. You know, they're in the same boat as the male, as the little boys. The little girls, the same boat. They all have to feed off of the feminine energy, and then there's no balance. Because I'm not saying there's something wrong with the female energy. I'm just saying you can't just have one without the other. It's just out of balance. And when things are out of balance, you have too much of one thing, just like it's too much of a good thing, it's too much of one thing, it becomes bad. That's what's happening. And then we just rely on entertainment because you see our faces there, our color there. You know? And they prop us up as the mascots. Because like I said, we're the trendsetters, everybody starts doing it. So it becomes normal. So when it starts affecting black people, it's like, well, everybody's doing it, so you're not special. And that's how it's perceived. So me saying something like, this is nuts, to any other race, me saying this to an Asian person, I probably sound like their parent at that point. Not like, I'm not the one who started the trend. I'm not the type of people who just started the trend. Like, no, these are my people. This trend is stupid. Stop. They don't see that. They won't be like, oh, well, yeah, your people started it, so yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. Is it? No, I sound like a parent. So like, oh no, you're not one of them really. And when you have other black people saying that, calling you a coon and stuff like that, or saying these words that they've redefined like goofy and funny. Like, that's not what these words mean, but now they've become a derogatory term somehow. Like I said, trend setters say that to somebody like me. Nah, I'm the problem. Like, no, I don't think I'm the problem. I'm not the one walking the street wanting to be, manhandled by another man. I'm not the one walking out, I don't associate with anyone walking down the street looking like a blow-up doll with a surprised look on her face constantly because of the heavy clown makeup and the fake hair. Yeah, that's normal. That's natural. All natural. You know what? I didn't even get into the colorism put into that too. The colorism aspect of how black men are portrayed in media, especially when it comes to TV and film. Like that now, like the darkest guy is always the gangster or the a-hole, and the light skin always sweeps the girl off her feet. It don't matter what color she is, but him, the light skinned guy, that's how it's portrayed. It's like, and they think these people on the left actually care. They think Hollywood cares about diversity when they're starting to they're perpetuating infighting, amongst us. They're making us fight each other. That's how they're portraying us. So that's how we, life imitates art in that sense. So that's how it's going now. So now the light skinned guy is going to be the goody two shoes. So if he's on the right side of the battle and he's making sense, they make fun of him. Like, they start questioning where, like, who's your father? Who's your mom? When that's not even important. They're trying to cause this rift, amongst us. It's fun, and you're still rooting for these people. The same people who are doing this, the same directors and writers and everybody in Hollywood that's doing this, they're no different from the politicians. They don't care. It's all about votes. They don't care. But you care because y'all are so emotional. Y'all are so emotional. You just see what's on TV and you just bring that into life. And you make that the insult because you saw that's how it was portrayed on TV. No, in real life, it's actually preference. But on TV, dark is bad, light is good when it comes to skin color. I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule, I mean, look at Luke Cage. But then again, if he wasn't a comic book character, you think he'd be dark? If Stan Lee or whoever at Marvel created him didn't make him dark, do you think he would be dark? In Blade, if he didn't show up in Spider-Man dark, do you think he'd still be dark? Do you think Wesley Snipes would have got that role? You get your Shamar Moore looking guys, as the hero. They do that. The black writers ain't doing that. The black comic book creators ain't doing that. That's nothing to us. That doesn't matter to us. If you're, lighter skin or darker skin, that's nothing. That's only preference when it comes to mating, mostly. But it has nothing to do with how we get along with each other. But no, media does that. And that's how they're breaking us apart, especially when it comes to men, because that's how we're portrayed. They're doing it to our women too, making them all light skinned. The dark skinned girl is always the hooker on a TV show. Ain't really like that. Whoever is going to be a hooker is going to be a hooker. It doesn't matter what color she is or how dark or how light she is. That's how it is in real life. But because we're so sucked into this, you have somebody who's into film, you have somebody who's into comic books and the fantastical telling you this. You gotta take something from this and say, yo, something's up here. You've experienced real life. A lot of the things people complain about is what they've seen and the news. Because the news are, things happen in this world a lot. A lot of things happen at the same time. There is no way what we see on the news is the only thing going on. But that's how people see it because, you know. Ostrich head in the sand, you know, you don't see it. So it just doesn't exist. But that's what you're exposed to all the time. That's what you know. It becomes what you know. It becomes more of what you know than what you really know, what you really experience. But life is so hard. You want to detach, so you put yourself in front of a TV or listen to radio, something external, and that becomes real life to you instead. And your brain registers that, and then that's real life. So then when a politician starts saying these things, they're like, yeah, that does happen. Because a lot of things the left complain about, I'm like, that's not the case. I don't experience that. It's just like my video on the cops. Like, I've never experienced this. I've only experienced it when whoever the cop starts acting up. But I've seen these situations end badly for white people the same way. Sometimes cops will rough up a white person even when he's being, you know, completely chill. You know, it's not to say I know of black people who've gone through this in the worst way possible with cops who have who've been cordial just like I have. Because, you know, luck of the draw, man. But like I say, evil doesn't discriminate, man. It's just who you end up encountering in life. These things happen. But I'm going in a whole new direction. So back to, you know, what's happening to our black men. Yeah, man. I mean, we see it. It's becoming normal. You want to see where it's becoming normal? Take Will Smith and his son. Not only his son, the daughter. They switch roles, and they're pushing that. The son and daughter switched roles. The son's wearing dresses and a purse, and the daughter's looking like a tomboy all the time. And because he's Will Smith and he's a celebrity, it's okay. Charlize Theron and her child that she stole, who knows the story behind that? Who knows what's going on in that house? Or how he was actually obtained. But look what she's doing to him. He's old enough to say he's this. He's the opposite, you know, sex now. Huh. That's what they're doing. All of them are doing that all of them are doing that. I'm sure Angelina Jolie's doing the same thing with her black kids. Making them choose what gender they want. Instead of naturally growing up and saying, you know what, I think I want to be this, I think I want to be that. When they become of age, when they starts to understand their sexuality properly. But instead, no, let's force it on them so there's nothing left of the black man. Let's just push this so there's nothing left. And whatever's masculine, let's call it toxic masculinity. And where there's no such thing. Well, there is. You want to know what toxic masculinity is? A man who's a criminal. A rapist. Something like that. Anything else? No. You're just an asshole, or you're just or you're just a good guy. Or just a man. Being manly. Doing manly things. As we should. But no, it's becoming anything manly is becoming a problem. But at the same time, they have this kind of, they know they're messing with the black man's mind. So they know, because they know the backlash because of slavery and all that. They know the backlash will be too harsh, so they got to go into the mind first, so they could like ease themselves into the change, so they can become feminized. You got to ease them into it, because there's a lot of what they would call toxic masculinity with black men. Even these feminized ones. These guys are still alpha. They're like feminized alpha. But they don't have a handle on that yet, so they prop them up. Like the athletes and all of them. Well, all of them are still walking like ducks, right? So, yo, what's the solution to this, though? I know what it is. You call it out. You just keep calling it out. And more voices that call it out, prevail. You say, no, I'm not buying that anymore. I'm not listening to this guy anymore. I see what they're doing. You do that, yo, you have control. But no, you just sit back and just watch this stuff happen and just complain about it. Kind of like what I'm doing now, but at the same time, I'm calling it out along with complaining. I'm saying what's happening. I just told you the cause. I didn't tell you who, because I know what I will never be able to talk here again. If I say who. And I think you know who I'm talking about. But nah, man. All you gotta do is speak out against this. Let them look crazy by trying to defend this ridiculousness, right? Try to defend that. How can you defend the way the guys with the sagging pants? How can you defend that? How can you possibly defend our women looking like blow-up dolls? You can't. You know what they do when I bring these things up to people? To other black people? They make excuses for it. Which means they know the problem. But they'll sit back and say, well, you don't know why, you don't know what they've been through, this and the other, and then they just sit back and let it happen. Just let them be that. No. Okay, let them be them. Let's still call it a problem, please. Just like being a criminal is a problem. We know their life story. We know what caused them to do this, to become a criminal. The parent didn't keep them in check when they started killing animals. Then later on in life, they became serial killers. Do we still let them walk? No. We still call it out. Even after they're reformed. After they're reformed, whoever ends up being reformed, what do? They come back and say, I used to do this. You cannot do this. The same thing with drugs. Hard drugs. Remember the DARE program in schools and all that stuff. They'd always send somebody who was in that life and who reformed. They come back and say, you don't want this life. Why can't we do that with this? Don't say it's not harmful, because it is harmful in the long run. It's especially harmful for black people in the long run. Right? We're going to just complain about everything and not do anything. We're going to focus on another race who did something in the past. Right? Instead of ourselves and building ourselves up. That's what we're focusing on. And we're so distracted by all this, by the music industry and all this stuff, that we're not even paying attention to it. And when we do pay attention to it and somebody calls it out like I am right now, we get shunned. They're like, oh, we don't need to hear that. Yo, turn that up. That's exactly what's happening. So, you guys experience what I said? Do you guys agree, disagree? Yo, let me know, man. And tell me your experiences. Like walking up the subway and dealing with that stuff in my, that's, Yo, and what do you think about this trap, yo? I think that alone has to be some mind control crap right there. That has to be something, right? Like, I think gangster rap was like about the image, and that's what made it okay. But I think the sound in trap has got black people in some trance. Somebody pointed out to me the other day, she said when she sees other people listening to trap, they will sing along and, they'll enjoy the, repeat the lyrics and all that stuff, dance and all that. Even when they're passing in the car, they're saying the words. And I've seen that too. But when it's a black person and that stuff's playing in their radio, it's nothing but silence from the person listening to it. The black person is just dead eyes. They're like in a trance. And then when the music stops, it's like the gears start spinning again. It's like something's being fed in their mind. I've seen it too. I don't know. Let me know. Tell me if I'm crazy, if I'm looking for what I want to look for in this, because it was told to me first and then I saw it. But tell me if you guys noticed that. Tell me, we already know the answer. We know this is all a subliminal, form of mind control. We already know this, but give me your experience. Give me what you guys witnessed. And tell me if I'm talking out of turn here. And I dare somebody to tell me I'm wrong. I dare somebody to tell me I'm wrong about what's going on. Like, yo, yeah, you're a fool. I'm not. This is too nuts to even say, oh, I understand. Yeah, I understand why this happened. No, I understand why it's happening. It's still bad. Just say I understand why criminals are criminals. It's still bad. So try defending that. But anyway, make sure you share, subscribe, like, comment, donate. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.